The more I explored this change that matters notion, the more I learned about the layers of impact it has. So I want to talk about some other benefits of change that matters. What I just described for you, I'm going to catalog as line of sight benefit to recipients. If we get families in homes, if we get medicine that saves people's lives, if we actually help empower employees, line of sight, you can go talk to the family in the home. You can actually be in front of somebody who's alive instead of dead. Line of sight, you can find the impact. That's wonderful. You know something else that's possible with changes that matter? Every time a change that matters is fully realized, you have the possibility of influencing the human psyche in its relationship to change. This is what I mean. When people experience a change that matters, see, they're going to pay attention to a change that matters. They've got all kinds of other changes, they could care less. A change that matters, they're going to pay attention to it. When they are watching closely a change that matters and it actually reaches full realization, you know what you're doing? You're creating unconscious confidence that it's possible. You're helping people understand you don't have to be victimized by change. You actually can orchestrate some of the variables. We can't control change. We can significantly increase the likelihood of reaching realization. You're creating unconscious confidence that it's possible. The alternative is for people to feel victimized. You can't do anything about change. It's the flip of the coin. It's the roll of the dice. Nobody actually understands it. And because of that, it has a very debilitating impact on innovation. Most people we relate to in our corporate worlds, most of them need to see that ideas for resolving problems actually get materialized. Or, if they don't, they tend to pull back from coming up with new ideas. They need to see that it's worthwhile to create an innovative solution to this wonderful opportunity. Or, what's the point? Guess what you do? You don't just have deliverables, you're actually teaching people at an unconscious level that they can have the confidence that you can bring an idea to full realization. It is possible. Now, there are people in the world, God love them, we're a better planet because of them. These people, they don't need application. They're pure creative energy. They don't care whether anything ever gets applied. They just want to create. The ultimate artist doesn't care if the canvas sells. They just want to create the picture. Now, I think we're a better species because of people like that. But in organizational settings, they're relatively rare. Most of the people we work with need to see something. And when they go to the trouble of figuring out a solution, and then it doesn't get fully implemented, they start getting disenchanted with the whole process. You're not just managing organizational change, you're helping shape the human landscape of how our species relates to change. Now, there's more to it. There's more layers. A change that matters is something that I'm going to pay attention to because it matters to me. So I'm paying attention. You know what happens when people pay attention? They're much better students. They're serious about what they're doing. When they're better students, you can be a better teacher. So here's what happens. You're just doing your thing, right? You're just working with your client, whoever it is, and you show them how we do this, and we can kind of mitigate some resistance, and we do this, and we can create some commitment, and they go, oh my gosh, this stuff actually works. Yeah, it does. And then there's this moment. It's just wonderful. When they realize not only does it work on the ERP project or the reorganization, they turn to you and go, I got some changes in my life. I mean, there's some stuff going on in my family, in my church, in my synagogue, in my union, and in the environmental issues. And they're facing changes. Is there any chance this could work there? Yeah, it could. See, we came up with this label called organizational change. Look, this isn't about organizational change. It's about humans in transitions. We just happen to be focused on the organizational manifestation of that. And that's fine. But let's not get caught up in thinking there's organizational change, not to be confused with what's going on with your real life. No. We want to actually encourage that transfer. What we're doing is we're encouraging people to take the unconscious confidence that it's possible to architect change and extend it out elsewhere. For two reasons. Number one, it would be useful elsewhere. Number two, when they go and it works in their church or their synagogue, they'll come back better. They'll believe it even more. And then, you know what happens? They're going to go to their church or their group, their community group, and they're going to say, hey, watch this. A little bit of this, and we reduce resistance. Some of that, we increase commitment. And somebody stands around them going, well, will you look at that? That's amazing. Hey, I got some stuff in my life. We're talking about a viral implication to helping people create unconscious confidence that you can navigate your way through all this transition, which is hugely important for us as a species. How do you think we got here? We're 700 souls that are the result of generations of adaptation. Our ancestors kept finding something would work, then it wouldn't, and they'd have to figure out, what do we do now? And the ones who figured it out tended to prosper and survive. And they passed on through their genes or through their modeling. They passed on. Nobody had a course, right? There wasn't a change management grid anywhere. Unconsciously, they developed competence in how you implement change. This is hugely important because we're at a crucial point in human history. Unconscious competence has worked pretty well up till now. You didn't actually have to consciously know what you were doing. You could kind of intuit your way through it, and most of the time it would work out. It's not so true anymore. The volume, momentum, and complexity of change today has reached such magnitude, just kind of figuring it out doesn't work. The best you can hope for is installation. You're not going to reach realization doing that. You know, there was a time you could just kind of jump in a biplane and figure it all out. Not many of you would want your pilot that flew here today have that mindset, okay? The pilots have a conscious, intentional structure they follow. And by the way, even after doing it for 20 years, there's a checklist. What does that tell you? When the stakes are high, you be careful about it. You be intentional. You be mindful about what you're doing. Well, I want to suggest the stakes are really high. And we as a profession are able to actually help this transition from unconscious confidence to conscious confidence. What I'm suggesting is that managing change has been around as long as our species has inhabited the planet. We recently came up with a cool profession called change management. I know I'm going to bruise some egos here. We did not invent managing change. Okay? You know what we've done? We paid attention to what worked and what didn't. We saw some patterns. We cataloged those patterns. We created some tools to reflect the patterns. We packaged the tools and we give them to our clients. That we've done, and thank goodness we have, but we didn't invent how to minimize resistance. Sorry, we didn't. We didn't create how you build commitment. That comes from the ancestral view of always having to struggle with this. If you could compress all of human history into 24 hours, for about 20 of those hours, our species has been dealing with change. You and I have been around for about 2 or 3 seconds. But it's very important that we're here because we're part of the shifting gear. You and I are part of what can go from unconscious competence to conscious confidence. Conscious confidence. So there's 3 payoffs around changes that matter. There's line of sight. It really matters to the people receiving this change that this happens. There's the possibility of creating unconscious confidence, and then layer on top of that conscious competence. That's what you and I have an opportunity to do.